All right, welcome back for our second feature match here of the evening. We're on week 4 of Wilds of Eldraine League, and we got another elimination match here. We got Caleb K. He is on the brink of elimination here, and he's taking on Jack H, who has been at the top of the standings pretty much since the outset. 4-1 in week 1, got up to 13-2 the end of last week. He's come down a bit this week. He's 1-3, but still very much firmly atop, in the top echelon of the standings. What's Caleb got in hand here, trying to stay alive?
Caleb is on the aggro train, but the hand right now is the 2 lands on the field, 2 lands in hand, a cooped up, the stockpile celebrant, and a torch the tower.
All right, so he's got stuff to do, even with maybe potentially a little less mana than he was wanting. Jack has kind of your classic week 4 5 loss deck, which is kind of just some okay cards, some good cards, but also some filler cards you maybe don't want in your deck on week 4. So he's got a hand here. He's got a Sweet Tooth Witch here. That's good. He's got a Candy Grapple, Bitter Chill, Hopeless Nightmare, Rowan's Grim Search, Stingblade Assassin, and Mocking Sprite. And I sort of went in decreasing order of quality, I think, as I went along here.
Sounds about right. At first, I was like, "This hand seems great," and the minute you mentioned the 3-1 and the 2-1, I was like, "Yeah, this hand stinks."
It's a little worse, yeah. So again, he's been doing well. So he's had the luxury of winning, which means not opening as many packs as other people. So in fact, he's got 5 less packs than Caleb here, who's on 10 losses. So this is going to put like sort of our foundational league theory to the test here, right? The whole point of our league is that once you get those punishment packs, once you get a bunch of them, you're supposed to be able to compete with the people who got off to a hot start and have less losses. That's sort of the great equalizer, or is supposed to be. So we'll see if that's the case here.
I just want to say Caleb's hand looks like it wants to equalize. So a turn ago, he drew the Recruiter, and then he just drew the Realm Scorcher Hellkite. So he's got some heat in his hand. I guess right now he's thinking, does he want to, create 2 knights, or does he want to just go on the aggro plan and coop up the 2-1?
So he's got a mythic, and a mythic uncommon.
Yeah.
So one nice thing here is that his Mocking Sprite is allowing him to cast his Candy Grapple on the cheap here for 1 mana.
This is probably along the lines of what Caleb wanted. Probably was hoping to get the trade, but I mean, this is still good. You get a card for a card while creating 2 more bodies, because the Celebrant's job's already done, right? It's just 1 more power.
Next turn's going to be a little bit of a beating, potentially. Jack can defend himself, but not in a way that's really favorable here. He has a Hopeless Nightmare. He has a Rowan's Grim Search. He can cast that for 2 mana. I think he might do that here. The Stingblade Assassin, obviously, you feel terrible trading it for any of the pieces of cardboard on Caleb's side. And the Bitter Chill, also, you don't really feel good about Bitter Chilling any of those creatures, considering they're all just a portion of a card. And here's some good cards now on his Grim Search. He's dumping the Vinestalk and the Otter, and he's keeping Fairy Fencing and Johann's Stopgap. Now these are cards here. Now he can bargain the Stopgap for 1 mana, bounce that, and his Fairy Fencing will actually cost. He'll actually get an additional discount on the X because he has not only a fairy, but the fairy also makes it cost 1 less.
This is quite the way to stay alive here. I mean, he did just draw more removal and Frenzy. I feel like he kind of wants to coop up and slam with the Recruiter this turn.
Yeah.
But I mean, that Nightmare that Jack is holding, I would assume that Caleb would get rid of the Frenzy. Does Jack have a way to deal with the Hellkite once it comes down?
He has a Bitter Chill, but that won't stop it from activating his abilities. But he did draw off of the Stopgap taken by Nightmares. So 1 black, 2 black. Now it's 1 black thanks to the sprite. And he does have the 2nd black with the Grotto. So he will be able to cast that as soon as he needs to. But usually that Hellkite is able to come down and pick something off at the very least before you remove it. And attack.
I mean, at the very least, it does look like Jack should be able to kind of stem the bleeding off. Like A turn ago, this looked like Caleb would just run away with the game, but now it looks like we might have a bit more of a game going on here.
Yeah, this is a bit of a rough turn here. He is still going to take a bunch of damage, but uh, so he is going to target that. He gets a -4/-4 for 1 mana. That's how you like to see it. He's still taking 5 here, and so even if he answers these things, if Caleb draws his land to play the dragon, the haste is just gonna get him here, and he can't just do nothing. He's drawn Troyan, which is the green blue uncommon here. So he's limited with the things he could do. He could actually only really cast one spell because of his the lands he has. So now he could still cast. Yeah. So this is what he could do. He could do the Hopeless Nightmare. That's gonna dump the thing that's not the dragon, I assume.
I'm assuming the same. Caleb
Yeah.
also assumes as
Witch
much.
Doctor
And
Frenzy.
Caleb has just drawn the land.
All right. So that's gonna wrap this up then. No way to stop the dragon here. He can sack the Ginger Brute, and he could deal 2 damage to Jack, and then the rest with the dragon attacking. So, yeah, what a card! Yeah, so the mythic uncommon followed by the mythic. Jack just stumbled a little bit. His cards were just not up to par here to fight against the aggro plan here. So we see Caleb off to a hot start, trying to stay alive here. And yeah, this deck looks pretty reminiscent to what we saw in the last time we saw him. He is splashing the green, but splashing for things like Root Rider Fawn and Troyan are not exactly. You don't really want to be splashing for like your ramp or your fixing cards. But he does definitely have some good splashes in Goose Mother, Fawn's Bane Troll, and Greta. So he's otherwise blue black. Aside
So the
from
top
those
end
green cards,
sounds like it's pretty good.
yeah, he also has Talion, the Kindly Lord. He's got a nice black blue deck here. Definitely the 3 gold cards that I named are definitely worth splashing. The others are like medium. Gonna looks like he wants to cheapen his curve a bit here, but this is also gonna mess up his mana because he's brought in 2 Troublemaker Oofs and 2 Territorial Witch Stalkers, but that means he's gonna have to greatly uh, change his mana base. It also looks like I'm not sure if he actually does have forests in his sideboard. No. Because so he's only got 3 forests in his deck, and if he wants to play the Troublemaker Oofs and the Territorial Witchstalker, he would have to have more, but because of the way the deck builder is set up, it does not give you unlimited basics like it does in normal limited games.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they changed that one day.
Yeah, so
It would make so much sense.
he just doesn't have the forests here. Um, so he took
I
out the
guess it
Witch
makes
Stalkers.
sense.
He took out the Witch Stalkers because he basically realized I can't put them in. He is going to keep in the Troublemaker Oofs just as so it's something he can cast late in the game that kills enchantments or artifacts, and he saw enough of those.
Yeah, I would assume he's really hoping to get those down on 2 just as blockers to kind of stem up some of that aggression.
Yeah, well, with only 3 forests, it's pretty unlikely, but
Well,
um,
hello, last game again. We once again have a recruiter and a Hellkite in hand with 3 lands and a 2-drop.
well, that sounds about as good as you could hope for. Did he make any changes, Caleb, in between?
Not that I saw. I looked at the deck. The curve looked fine. I guess he was pretty pleased with how game 1 went, and so we're just going to send it right back.
Yeah, so good start here, Root Rider Fawn, even though green is his splash. He's drawn another Crystal Grotto, so it's making his hand a little bit awkward here. He does have an island he can keep on top. He could play a Prophetic Prism this turn. That will sort of smooth out some of the issues with his lands here. But he does have a strong hand. He has a Rat Out. He has Ingenious Prodigy, which I think he's going to cast here. It would have to be X equals 2. He's got a Stopgap, and he's got Talion the Kindly Lord, as well as a Prophetic Prism. So he's got some nice ones here.
Now, Caleb did just draw the stroke, so we'll have to see if he wants to aim at the Prodigy.
Which stroke would that be?
The uncommon stroke of midnight, kill a creature,
Oh,
make
stroke
a
of
1/1.
midnight. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely did not draw a disdainful stroke, I'm assuming.
No, not the blue stroke.
No.
Looks like he's going to fire it off right away. He does have Kellum's Light Blades.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if he might try and hold that.
That shows you what kind of a mentality of a player I am. When you say stroke, I just think disdainful stroke. I'm not thinking of
We're
this.
talking about the good stroke, right?
I didn't say that. I'm just thinking of the one that I'd be more likely to cast or want in a deck. So
Mm-hmm.
Talion's going to come down here. This card has just been, I've had it in my deck since day one, and this card is just, this card wins games, quite honestly.
So here's the real question, right? What's stronger? 1, 3, 4 flyer or 2 recruiters?
Go on.
Yeah, he's just drawing a second recruiter.
Okay, so this is his path to victory here. I almost always name three. Actually, I've the only time I haven't named three with Talion is when I knew the last card in my opponent's hand was a one drop. um, but yeah, so he's definitely going to defend himself here, and he named two, so the recruiter will also trigger that because it has a power and toughness of two.
Well, I believe we're about to see it right now.
I mean, Caleb's definitely going to set up a wide board here and hope to win through that. I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, with an extra land or two, he might be able to start stemming up what can happen in the skies. He still has to kill Light Blades. The only issue is you really don't want to give up a 2/2.
Yeah.
All right.
So, despite the fact that the recruiter makes tutus, it does not trigger Talion because the spell itself has no power, no toughness, and a mana of 5. So,
Which is fair.
in comes the guest here, and he's gonna.
Interesting.
Well, he has the rat out here. So if Caleb doesn't read him for rat out, he's just yeah. So if he would have stacked the creatures the other way, he could have the token would have died. But um, I think there you have to sort of read your opponent for rat out or
Yeah.
something like that. Right. So here comes the flyers, and of note, this the Barrow Naughty does have lifelink. So every life matters here when you're facing the multi recruiter deck. I mean. I don't think. I mean, he doesn't necessarily know that he's facing multiple recruiters, but again, every life
Yeah.
point counts when your opponent's trying to go wide and pump everything.
I'm going to assume the plan here is to drop down the Hellkite. What does Jack have left in hand?
He's gonna stop gap. He's gonna stop gap, and he's
Oh.
gonna get that. And he's drawing a Greta Sweet Tooth Scourge, so pretty nice one to draw here.
Yeah, seeing as he can pump the flyers and still trying to get through the Hellkite is pretty nice.
Yeah, this is exactly what Jack needs to do against this deck. Get some value, get a nice board, and get some threats. And he's done all of that. And his life total is still 19. So Caleb must be pretty frustrated here, considering his draw looked pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost positive if Caleb was on the play, this would be a completely different game.
Yeah, and,
but I mean,
and Jack's drawn a back for seconds now, which if Talion goes away, he can get that right back into play, and he can even get his Ingenious Prodigy back from the graveyard to hand if he wants with it.
Yeah, for a 16-5, record, this deck looks pretty sweet for a week 4 deck.
Yeah, so like I said, he's he was 13-2. He's taken a few losses this week, so he's come back down to earth slightly. 14-5 still, which is still an incredible record. Like I mentioned at the outset, he does have a few filler cards to tie the whole thing together and make it work without going too deep into 3 colors. But his good cards are very good, as not surprising to see from somebody doing this well. But Caleb's got quite the fighting spirit over there with his Boros deck, trying to scratch and stay alive here in week 4. But he's getting low here. Not too much he can do, I think, to turn this game around. Even that dragon's not going to be quite enough.
No. Sally's got Twisted Fealty for the draw for turn. So, I mean, it's kind of looking like this is going to lock up the game here. I mean,
yeah, making 2/2s. I mean, there's the threat. The threats are in the air here.
Yeah, I mean, what he could do is, there's no block here, but Kellum's Light Blades on either Talons or the Barrow Naughty.
Yeah, the Kellen's Light Blades is going to lose him 3 life, though. So. Or lose him 2 life. So he is going to go to. Uh, seems like exactly 1. Jack, because of his mana situation, does not actually even have a single swamp in play. So he cannot pump the Baronati twice.
Listen,
But
getting it done with
back
the
for
50.
seconds is going to seal this up, I think. It already looked pretty sealed up, but this is gonna definitely make it impossible for Caleb to get through here unless he has a board wipe. And even with a board wipe, the Sweet Tooth Witch comes down next turn and kills him anyway.
I believe he's reading the Hellkite to see if there's any way he can wipe out everything at once. Is it possible?
4, 6. I mean, he has 8 lands. He'll have 3 pings, so that is not even close to enough. If he sacks his token, he'll have 3 uh, instances of 1 damage. He can spread however he wishes.
Yeah, I believe we're definitely going to a game 3. Who do you have favorite for game 3?
I mean, Boros deck on the play, hard one to bet against, but we see Jack definitely has the tools. Definitely has the tools to fight against this. He does have a lot of 2 drops and 3 drops, so his curve is not too high. So he does have what he needs to fight against this. And like I said, he lowered his curve a bit. He took out into the Fate Court for a Troublemaker Oof. I think he took out a 4th Johan stopgap for another Troublemaker Oof, just to lower the curve a little bit. So he definitely, he saw enough in game 1 uh, to know what he needed to do.
You know what
Interesting.
seems
Yeah.
this mana works out a little better from this game. I mean, definitely lowering the curve, like you could tell, it just helped getting on board on turn 2.
Yeah, interesting card that I saw that I just noticed now at the left side of his deck. Double Ego Drain. I'm not sure how many fairies he has. His deck didn't look like it had infinite fairies. I mean, he has a good amount, but interesting mulligan there. He had lands and spells, but just the wrong colors. And now he's looking at a 1-lander. So now it's going to be extraordinarily
Oof.
difficult.
I mean, on the plus side for him, Caleb's looking at 3 lands, a Light Blades, a Celebrant, and a Ginger Brute. So it's not, a crazy stacked hand. Needs a bit of help from the top.
Yeah, that's probably going to be enough here. He has, Jack's kept a 1-lander here.
Oh,
So he might not be able to cast many spells. Kept an Ego Drain in hand, which is a little bit of a strange one to keep, especially on a mulligan to 5 with no fairies in hand. But he's drawn an island here to cast his Prophetic. He's drawn a Crystal Grotto, so he may be able to at least cast spells, but he's definitely starting out at a big disadvantage.
I mean, the Ego Drain's probably going to get a pretty nice hit here. I would assume he just takes the Frenzy if that's the play for next turn.
Yeah, but he's 2 for 1ing himself to do that, right? That's the
Sadly, yeah. I mean, is there anything else better he has to cast in hand?
Bitter Chill.
That's probably the play.
And a Hopeless Nightmare. Yeah, he can do Bitter Chill and Hopeless Nightmare. And then he can, if Caleb replays the Ginger Brute, he can use the Troublemaker Oof, exile the Ginger Brute, scry 2, and maybe find something to claw his way back here.
Sounds like we might have a game. Caleb decides to get rid of the Light Blades there, valuing the Ginger Brute and the Frenzy a little more. He did save Return Triumphant on top, but the fact that none of these creatures are going to the graveyard is really not helping.
Yeah, Sweet Tooth Witch, nice draw here. I think he's just gonna do the oof play here because he just wants to scry.
I mean, I think it makes the most sense, right? Like you're still stemming up your opponent's aggression.
Right, he sees Forest and Minstrosity, both of which he keeps. Forest on top means he could play Greta next turn. And then Minstrosity. Minstrosity is just always a nice card to have against aggro decks.
Okay. Cut in for the draw. So we have 2 forms of removal. And this Return Triumphant is just going to sit in hand for a while.
Yeah, so Greta is almost assuredly going to be the target of one of those removal spells.
Yeah.
Because can't let that card stay in play, unanswered.
Just too valuable. Too valuable.
It's a really great one. See, now this Ego Drain is just rotting in hand. Like, he has a monstrosity on top. He has a sweet tooth witch in his hand. Like he doesn't want to exile either of those. So that would have definitely been a card I would have put to the bottom with that mulligan to 5. I would think, but
It makes sense, but it seems like we'll just be sitting here for a while looking at each other. We
yeah,
we know
well,
Jack has the monstrosity, the ego.
and the sweet tooth
Almost
witch.
forgot about the witch.
Yeah, so he's putting himself on board, and Caleb's not doing much. So Jack is he was I think in panic mode very early on with the Multi 5 and keeping a one lander, but this is just about one of the worst starts that Caleb could really have here. Just
Yeah.
only played 2 threats, and both of them are easily answerable. And here comes a
We'll have to
Candy
see if we get
Grapple
out of
on
this.
top. That so the next threat that Caleb has, it will be neutralized here. I mean, Caleb's gonna have to remove one of these creatures now. He's gonna have to use one of his. I guess you said he has cut in.
Yeah, cut in and land for turn just drawn, but Twisted Fealty is really not going to do anything.
Not too
Definitely
much.
something you're hoping to have behind a board of creatures.
Yeah, that's a finisher, right? It's a
There's
finisher.
definitely
It's a finisher, or
draws.
if you have a steal and sack effect. But if you
Yeah, there's
don't,
definitely draws Caleb has. Like you can see Caleb really wants to use his cut in. He's looking at Twisted Fealty. I'm really not sure what you're going to get out of that outside of a bit of damage, right? You kind of have to cut in, stem the bleeding. Yeah, you don't get max value out of it, but I mean, you're just trying to get out of this downward descension at this current point.
yeah, cut in the sweet tooth. He says, "I don't need the life. I'm at 16. I'm gonna deal you two." Right now he's trying
So I
to
think
Root Rider Fawn, so not the exact card he was looking for, but it has power, it has toughness, it attacks, it blocks, it'll do.
yeah, I think with this current board state, you just want damage. I mean, Caleb just drew another land, still Return Triumphant stuck in hand, and Twisted Fealty, 2 cards that just aren't going to do anything.
So this is just a 2 turn clock at this point. He's got 4 and then another 4, and if Caleb does not find an answer, that's going to be it.
Caleb could Twisted Fealty on his own creature to untap it.
Sure.
I mean, hey, listen,
it's
right?
it's legal. It's definitely legal. Can't say it's not.
I think I would have
He's
preferred to see that because then it would make his Return Triumphant live again, right? But instead, he's just going to take the Monstrosity.
yeah, a little bit of a weird one there.
Yeah.
Twisted Fealty actually not the best against Jack's deck. His deck has mostly smaller creatures. He has a couple bombs, but it's not like a green deck where he's playing Hamlet Gluttons to try and stabilize, and then you could steal that and finish them off or something. But this Ingenious Prodigy looks like this game is gonna come to an end here. It looks like Caleb's journey through the wilds of Eldraine is going to meet a grisly end here. Candy Grapple on the 2/2, and that is going to be a lethal attack. So Jack is finishing the week strong, 15 wins. So congratulations to him, trying to make his first top 8. And Caleb has unfortunately fallen here with his 11th loss. So congratulations to Jack, and thank you to both players as always. And we'll be back a bit later for our final match of the evening.